Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to the channel for more Destiny 2 news and intel. And in today's video, we have a ton of topics to discuss as always, so forgive me if you hear me referencing, because I actually had to write some notes down for this one. But we're going to be primarily focusing on some glitches and exploits, and then we'll round out the video with some weekly reset information for this week and the coming week. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. Remember, you can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. Any of those things will also enter you into any future giveaways on this channel. We do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the channel, we'll be giving away a new console or video card if you play on PC. You can also stick around until the end of the video for the secret hashtag you can leave in the comments section for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And remember, those secret hashtags stack between all videos. So if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back, check out another video, and of course, do it again. Remember, if you do wish to contribute to the channel, subscribing is free and is the easiest way to do so. But of course, if you'd like to leave a tip on the channel or become a channel member, not only will that give you more entries into the next giveaway, but you'll also receive a personal friend request from myself, and maybe you'll just jump into one of these videos in the future. Always also interested to hear all your thoughts and comments down below, or anything I might mispronounce over the course of this video. I'm sure there'll be something. Any of those things will also give you another entry into the next giveaway. Quick side note, I just wanted to remind everybody, Bygones is now easily bought from the Drifter and is still one of the best weapons for PvP in the game. Definitely go farm out a great role on Bygones. If you'd be curious to know what roles I would recommend, let me know in the comments section down below. Maybe that'll be the topic for a later video. But just to run you through some of the things that we're going to discuss today, we have a God Mode glitch, we have a glitch for the Graviton Spike Catalyst, we have a couple of exotic glitches that we're probably going to run through. We of course have a power level glitch. We have something for leveling, especially for solo players, that is on the damage exploit kind of side of things. Then we have a way to get the new exotics almost instantly, and a few things that I want to talk about over at Xur before he leaves. And he will not return until next Friday, as some of you, if not all of you, already know. But some stuff that I might have forgotten to mention on my Friday Xur video. So we're going to start off there, and then we'll eventually round out the video with a fun little out-of-bounds glitch that I think will come in very handy for anybody who's trying to get some new exotic catalysts. And then we'll do a little bit of info for next week, some stuff that you should expect. It's going to be an interesting week next week. Over at Xur, though, I did fail to mention that the roles on all the exotics actually can be changed slightly. Now, this is a new feature, I believe, but if you head down to your Ghost mods, you'll notice that you can obviously equip different Ghost mods that will enable armor that you receive to have a specific stat. Now, here's the thing. Not unlike how it used to be, these stats are broken into two columns of three. There's, if you look at your stats, the top column, which is health, melee, and grenade, and then the bottom column, which is super, class, and weapons damage. You might be familiar with this from before the launch of Edge of Fate, but if you're a new player or a returning player, maybe you just never saw anything on this. But essentially, that's how stats work. They haven't changed that part, even though they've given them all new names. So if you equip a Ghost mod that has a specific stat boost on it, you should be getting rewards or loot drops, armor drops, that have that stat favored. That doesn't mean that's going to be the only stat you get, but usually you'll get something in that stat place that is fairly good. And the way that it used to work was essentially when you would equip one stat, the other two stats would be sort of thrown into the other column. So you would usually receive one stat bonus in the stat that you really want. So for example, I want a piece of armor with the brawler, which is heavily favored for my melee, to drop. So if I were to equip this, what I would guess I would see on my next few drops is I would see something with a lot in the melee stat bonus, and then I would see two other stats favored in that other column. So if I look at the columns, again, if I favored melee, I would expect to see something probably with either a super stat, class, or weapons as those second and third favored stats. I'm not totally sure that this is how this is working. It seems as though the one that you favor actually pushes the stuff into the other column as favored more than the one that you pick. So, if you're trying to get stuff in the bottom column, I would suggest maybe favor something you don't want in the top column. Just a suggestion. I don't know if I really haven't been able to test this enough yet, I have to say. But it seems as though that's the way this is working. And just with how strange this whole system is already, I think I'd be interested to hear some feedback from those out there to know if this is actually working properly, because Bungie has just figured out a way to mess up something very basic. But in any case, that's actually not what I wanted to mention. If you change the mod for the armor that you wish to have drop, say I throw on Grenader armor, and then you go back and look at the Xur stat rolls, you will notice that the stat rolls actually change somewhat. So let's just look, for example, at this Kerenstein armlets. I've heard people... Kerenstein. It's like the Berenstain Bears thing. It's like a Mandela effect kind of thing. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about in the comment section down below for another entry into the next giveaway. But let's just look at this. So we have melee 12, grenade 30, and super at 18. So now if I change that, there's no guarantees of this, but I have seen many people mention this, and I had seen something posted on it elsewhere. So let's say I change that to melee now, and I go back. You'll notice that the entire stat bar has changed. We are now 18 in health, 30 in melee, and 15 in class. So in this case, the melee bonus seems to be working. But for some reason on armor drops, I've noticed it be a little bit different. But let's try it one more time. Let's throw everything into weapons now. Where is weapons? There we go. Go back. And as you can see, nothing's changed at all. So I don't know if this is a problem specifically with the weapon stat bonus, but let's test it. Let's just change it one more time, because it seemed to change when we went from grenade to melee. So let's throw on a specialist armor bonus, and let's see how well it changes. This seems to be a feature that Bungie has instituted that doesn't seem to be working properly. So as you can see, no change there. But if we go back to grenade, things have changed. So I don't know if it's specifically just with those two stat focusing bonuses that things seem to be either working or not working. But in any case, this is something to be on the lookout for. It's something to try if there is a particular exotic that you want to change the stats on slightly. Again, I'm not totally sure if it's going to work for every single stat focusing bonus. Apparently, it doesn't, at least on this exotic. But I leave it to you all out there to let me know in the comments section down below first if what experience you've had trying this, and what success or failures you've had, whether or not this is a bug or a feature that is in fact bugged, which I'm almost positive it is, as Bungie never rolls out anything like this and has it work perfectly well to the start. So who knows if it'll get fixed anytime soon, but if you are looking to focus armor stats, you might want to use these little caveats if you're not getting the results that you want. So that's the first thing I wanted to cover, and really the only thing I wanted to cover today at Xur. Also, Xur is selling Trials weapons if you missed Friday's video. There's some really good weapons available that were only available through Trials. We have the Summoner, and we have the Shura's Wrath, as well as the Eye of Soul. Pick these up if you don't have them. Also, Trials will be returning again next Friday. So the same day Xur returns again. Remember, Xur disappears tomorrow at the weekly reset, and he doesn't return until the daily reset on Friday, as well as Trials of Osiris. Now, the next thing that I wanted to discuss is a power level glitch. Now, this is a very, very easy one to do, and it's really going to be for my solo players out there. Unfortunately, it's not something that you can use for long periods of time, but I think you will find it comes in handy, especially if you find yourself in a situation where you're basically kind of getting close to that top tier of whatever level you are at farming the portal. So you'll notice that initially when you go into a portal activity, before you unlock a different tier, so before you unlock Master, for example, if you're on Expert, when you first get into a tier, it's very easy to farm up power. But then as you get later on, it becomes more and more difficult as you get closer to the power cap for that tier until you can get into the new one. So this is something that I think will help a lot, especially if there is a piece of armor, specifically helmets, that you just have not been able to get to drop and are just trying to get your overall power up in order to get into that next tier. So what you can do is you can head over to your collections tab, and I did cover this on Friday's video, but I think some people might have missed it. Head to Flare, go to your miscellaneous, I believe. Yes. And under masks, you'll notice that these masks, not all of them, but the top masks are all really, really high power. This is my overall average power of 256. This is actually higher than some of the armor pieces that I currently have equipped and some of my weapons. So if I was, unfortunately, I'm not missing a helmet to show you this at the moment, but if I was missing a helmet, I could mid-max by using one of these masks. Now, this will only help the drops that I'll get further down the road. Unfortunately, you cannot infuse the masks, but they are something that you can use until you get a new piece or get up to that power level that you are looking to in order to get into that next tier. So just sort of a stopgap in between, but I think it's useful, especially for solo players. This will always be at your average, no matter what power you're at, and it is definitely a glitch. So use it while you can. I don't know if Bungie will patch it. It might get overlooked, as there's a lot of stuff going on. But in any case, thought I'd let people know about that a little bit more specifically. Now, the other thing that I want to really talk about, which I think will come in very handy for all my solo players out there. Let's find a nice little vista just to show you this, as this might take a second. But this is for your armor, and specifically for those of you, as I said, for solo players out there who are looking for a little extra when it comes to damage and how much you can actually take. Now, I feel you guys if you're solo players out there, because getting into the harder activities, especially once you get up and you're starting to play with all the modifiers, it can get very, very daunting. But this will help you out quite a bit. So it takes a couple of things to explain, but we're going to actually go down to our ornaments page first off, and you'll see that I have the Bushido armor equipped. Now, this is cool looking armor, but it's not the armor that I would be wearing unless there was some sort of bonus involved. Now, I don't think this is going to get patched, because I believe Bungie has actually said that this is not an intended use, but they're not going to get rid of it. This is very similar to the Iron Banner rank booster that I might have heard me talk about many times in the past. But essentially, if you look over my armor, if I scroll over, you can say I have the Aeon Renewal armor set actually equipped. There might be another, yes, this is the other new set. So there are 2 new sets comboed that I have equipped. Now, any new set will allow you to do this, but you're going to need at least 2 different new armor sets, but they have to be the new armor. Now, you could actually, I think, do this with the old armor if you equipped a new armor ornament on top of it, but in this case, we're going to be using both. So, in order to do this, what you first need to have is new armor. Doesn't have to be one set of armor, it can be any set of armor. But there are bonuses to having new armor sets. So if you're trying to combo, if you want a, the set bonus from having 4 pieces, I leave that up to you. But it really doesn't matter. All you need is to have 4 new armor pieces. And you know that they're new because they have the little blue icon in the corner. This is, of course, a new exotic. That also counts, though I won't be able to do what I'm going to be showing you to the exotics because it doesn't work on the exotics. But I'm still using an exotic, so that's why I have it equipped. So let's just ignore the exotic, but just know that it is a new armor piece, so it is playing into this somewhat. But essentially, I have 4 new armor pieces, and then I equip a new armor ornament, so in this case, the Bushido armor set, just because that's what I had, on top of my already existing piece of new gear. So, new piece of armor with a new armor ornament equipped on top of it. Now you can turn your armor, once you've acquired it, into ornaments through the Loom by Ada 1. You need to do one of the bounties, you'll get the ability to transmog the armor into an ornament, and then you just have to go and look for it by, I believe, let's see, we'll click on the armor, and you'll find usually the new armor all the way on your back page. So you'll see, it'll be, I've unlocked all of them, but they would be right here, essentially. And again, they'll have this little blue icon in the top left corner. If it has the blue icon, it's going to work. So, have your new armor on, and then go and turn another new armor set into a universal ornament. Then throw the universal ornament on top of your already new piece of armor. And what this is going to do is it's going to increase your damage resistance 4 times. So, you would normally be only getting the damage resistance from having new gear on, and you'd have, of course, the 4 pieces of new gear. But in this case, it'll essentially be like you have 8 pieces of new gear. Now, I obviously am not using 8 pieces because I am using 1 exotic. So it's essentially like I have 6 pieces of new gear on as far as my damage resist is concerned. And if you're not totally convinced, I'll just show you. You could see that it was 12.6 is my damage resist currently. So I'm going to remove an armor ornament, not a armor piece of gear. I actually have to, wow, I haven't done anything with that piece of gear yet, but let's just remove the ornament. Let's click on this. Let's throw on, as you can see, I have a whole bunch of other stuff, but we're going to throw on this ornament. And then if I go back to my damage resist, you will see that it has dropped to 10.8. Now it's just from removing an ornament. There is also apparently some glitch. I don't know exactly how you do it. Maybe you can let me know in the comment section down below that will give you 100% damage resist if you do this. Now, I really don't know how you do that. If I had to guess, it has to do with swapping different armor on and off, maybe through using your loadouts. There are a few other glitches with exotics. Just swapping them in and out will give you the perks from both exotics. That's sort of old glitches. I don't have any specifics for you, but it does work quite a bit and quite often, and seems to be working a lot lately. So you can test those kind of things, but there is a way apparently to get 100% damage resist. So have fun trying to figure that out, but I thought this was just a really good thing for all players to be using, especially solo players out there who, you're on your own, you can use as much damage resist as possible. And remember, if you throw on, say, another new one, should still be at 10. Oh, actually, it went down for some reason. Maybe my exotic is giving me a little extra. So that's nice in that case. But you could also throw another armor ornament on top of, say, this one, and you'd get even more bonus. So just use that while it's still available. Again, I don't know if it's going to get changed anytime soon, but while it's here, I think it's a very, very useful thing. Now, I'm just going to run up to our old buddy Banshee 44 really quick, just so you can look at the loot. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We have a few other things. So we've covered our power level glitch. We've covered a damage resist glitch. Let's now cover a God mode glitch. Now, this is, again, for all you solo players out there. And this will help, I think, when you're trying to get into the harder level difficulty activities. If you're right at the very tail end of a tier or at the beginning of another tier and you need to just bump it up with mods, and the mods are either making the process a whole lot slower in order to farm out, or you're just a little underpowered. I'm just going to click on the portal really quick to show you this, because it really comes down to one particular mod. So let's go into the solo playlist. I'll click on one of these. Go to customize. You can see I'm right at the end of expert, but the mod we are looking for is Grit. It should be under your help mods, but let's just find it. Where is Grit? There we go. Okay, so falling in battle and being revived grants you a stacking damage resistance buff. Okay. You don't need to be revived by a teammate. Self-reviving also counts. If you go into any activity and you have this mod equipped and you jump off an edge 30 times, you will be unkillable. You will be an absolute god. No matter what level activity you are in, nothing will be able to do damage to you, at least not very quick. You will have beyond 100% damage resistance. If you already have a lot of damage resistance from using the other damage resist armor bug I just showed you, then you are going to be next level with this. You don't even need the damage resist bug. If you just jump off a ledge 30 times, self-revive, I know it might take a little time, but then, yeah, you're in God mode. Have fun with that. Thought it would be helpful for everybody out there. Next thing, let's talk about how to get the new exotics. So, I have my new gauntlets here. Now, normally, you need to complete the entire campaign. I don't know if you need to do it on Legendary, but you need to complete the entire campaign in order to be able to have access to the sieve over on Kepler in order to get the new exotic, which only comes up varying times. So you have to, of course, complete the campaign in order to do it. Now, this is not for my solo players out there, but if anybody has a friend who already has access to this activity, you don't need to do the campaign. You just jump in when they access this activity, jump into their fire team, and on the very first run completion, you will get one of the new exotics. So if you have a buddy, you haven't done the campaign, or if you're on a second character and you don't want to do the campaign on that character, but you want the new exotic for them, jump in with a buddy into this activity. First run, 100% guaranteed, you will get the new exotic. So just a little help there. So let's see. What have we covered? We covered the God mode glitch. We've covered the power level glitch. We've covered the damage resistance glitch. We've covered the new, or how to get the new exotics. We've covered the ghost mods for Xur, as well as other things. One more thing that we're going to cover towards the end of this video is I'll show you a very easy little out of bounds glitch in order to get one of the Graviton Spike, the new hand cannon catalysts. Last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is for damage. There is a broken weapon at the moment. If we head over to our power page, this bad boy, the Truth, is broken at the moment and is giving 10% more damage when equipped. That means you don't actually have to be using it. You just have to have it on your person across the board in PvE and in PvP. And if you're on a Warlock and you're running Starfire Protocol with the fusion grenades, you are going to see a huge buff in terms of the damage output you're doing. But everybody will, no matter what kind of damage. You just have to have this equipped. Again, use it while you can. Now, like I said, we'll end this video with the out of bounds glitch for the Graviton Spike. So stay tuned for that. But we're gonna just round out all the information today. Remember, next week, if you are planning on playing, it's going to be Arms Week, the very first Arms Week event. It's going to be for hand cannons, so hand cannons are going to be getting a bit of a buff. We're also going to be getting a new hand cannon. Speaking of hand cannons, if you haven't had a chance to head over to the store this week, I would recommend picking up this weapon ornament for the Hawkmoon. Looks pretty serious. Remember, you can still get random rolls by taking the Hawkmoons out of your collections tab at the moment. It doesn't say that they're going to give you random rolls, but every single Hawkmoon that you take from collections will have a random roll on it. So if you're looking for a god roll, I don't know how long that's going to last, but it might be worth just taking a whole bunch, farming them out until you get the roll that you want, and then why not throw this ornament on it? I've heard some people say that this ornament actually improved the handling or the sight of the weapon a little bit. I don't know if that's true, though this has been known to happen with certain exotic ornaments in the past. I don't know if this one really changes that much, but it certainly looks cooler, so have fun with it. Also, Trials of Osiris will be returning next week on Friday with Xur, so that's going to be a fun time. And I'll have more information about that as it arrives on Friday's video, as well as all your weekly Xur information. But thanks so much for watching all the info up until this point. Really appreciate you being here. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, as I said before. Or if you'd like to leave a tip on the channel, become a channel member, or leave a donation. Thank you all so much. Remember, 70%, as I said before, of the people who watch my videos regularly are still not subscribed, and subscribing is 100% free and is the easiest way to help support the channel. So thank you all. If you subscribe on this video, or for all the new subscribers on the channel as of late, can't thank you enough. I'd like to finish out today's video with just a few shout outs to those who have contributed to the channel as of late. We have SSJ Scoot, one of our close buddies. We have Very Sneaky. We have Kenny Conrad. We have Richard Hartnett. We have Steve Card. We have Most Unknown. We have J Tally. We have Rabid Dice. We have Shadow of Death Sweden. We have Chris Scott. We have Plucky Disco. We have Nomad. We have Justin St. John. We have our buddy C. John, one of the #1 contributors to the channel. As of late, we have DG Striker, also becoming a buddy. We have Chip and Soda. We have Rage Forever, also a buddy of the channel. We have Velvet Hammer, another buddy of the channel. We have Charlie Boy. I think he has actually joined our clan or guild as of late, so shout out to Charlie Boy. We have Sark Kamar, another very close friend of the channel. I have to make sure to send him not a from request, but an invite to the next time we are doing raids or some other activity. We have Brizak Afus. I always think I say that name incorrectly, but I apologize. Brizak, love having you here, man. And we have Ronald Johnson. We have Zack Attack. We have Aaron Batts. We have Joe Kim Upling. We have DJ Oros. Shout out to DJ. Had some car trouble recently. Hopefully he's recuperating soon and well. We have Jade. We have our #1 buddy on the channel, and where would we be without him? so much of the content that you see is either contributed by our buddy Divine Lord Sinister, or at least helped in facilitating by him. So big shout out to our buddy Sin. We have our buddy Real Daz also helping a lot on the channel as of late. Helped us get through as much as we could of the day one raid. We have Tinnitus Bat, also very close friend of the channel. We have Gecko. I'll never forget the sound of his voice again. We have J.A. Nightmare. We have Deadpool. And if I forgot your name, I apologize profusely, and I will make sure to give you a shout out on the very next video. And if you haven't sent me a friend request yet, you are on that list. Or if you're just a frequent viewer of the channel, I always want to be as accessible as possible. And please make sure to send me a friend request, especially for you solo players out there. If you're looking for just a good group of friends to game with on occasion, I will message you. Here is just my bit of information so you can send me a friend request if you are looking for it. Now, keep in mind, I do record some of these videos on PC, but I often play more on my console. So if I don't get back to you right away, but you can see all the names. Obviously, ignore the Stadia one at the bottom, but this is, of course, my Bungie name, so that should allow most people to send me a friend request. Enjoy the Graviton Spike out of bounds for that Catalyst. Thanks so much for watching once more. And as always, I'm Wilhelm Scream. We will see you next time. Little.